Hey, pass me a beer.
All right, who's doing the intro? Let's get this baby rolling. Gina, it's all you. Go.
Look, at least promise me you won't drink. Alcohol always leads to trouble.
You haven't listened to a podcast. You have no idea what the intro is, do you?
Hey, who wants to play Drink the Beer?
Right here.
You win.
All right, what do I win?
Another beer.
Just have a cup of coffee.
There it is.
Listened and blocked it out.
Coffee?
Beer.
Traumatized from the last one I listened to.
I'd kill for a beer.
Cheap beer and a sympathetic ear. Step right up.
Sounds good. Here we go. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. It's the BeerdedHops podcast. We've got a fun one to do tonight. One we've been waiting for a little while now. It's going to be an excellent one to drink. There's a little bit of controversy surrounding this one. I think we'll probably get into that a little bit tonight. But we are doing Founders KBS. As Gina has shown, I've got, I think all of us have the 12-ounce bottle. And I also have the bomber here just to show what else it's available in.
Bombers.
Jealous you got the bomber.
Ooh, mine is bigger than yours. I have a bomber.
Yeah. So before we get started here to crack this baby open, we do have Jake with us tonight and a super, super special guest with us tonight. Gina is here, Adam's wife. So welcome to the show, Gina.
Super
Thank
special.
you. Happy to be here. Should we also clarify that this KBS is 2018, just so that there's no misnomers about what year we're drinking?
Yeah, we were. I think
Was that directed at Jake? What's that?
It was for Jake's benefit. It was.
Yeah, I think we'll get into that.
Okay.
So before we open it, Jake, what are our rules of engagement?
All right. Well, I'm sure most of our listeners know. We're just waiting for the next podcast to come out. But for anybody new, just so you know, we're gonna look at this bottle. We're gonna talk about what we see on the label here. We're gonna crack this baby open. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna sniff it, see what kind of smells we're getting, what kind of delicious aromas are floating up our nostrils. Then we're gonna start sipping it here and talk about our initial impressions. Eventually, we're all gonna get to an initial rating that, of course, it would be our sort of unofficial untapped rating if we were to stop there, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to talk about beer, founders, KBS, controversy, IBUs, all kinds of shit. About halfway through the show, I already took my cap off. Sorry, got a little excited. Halfway through the show, we'll check in again, see if those ratings have changed, especially as the beer warms, sometimes that can change. Then we'll continue on our virtual walk through the beer world. And we'll wrap it up at the end of the show with some final ratings, something a little spicy for those that only listen to the short reviews, which I love. And we don't get the full review on the shorties.
Look at that. That's what we call the rules of engagement, kids.
Nicely done, Jake. We will put the final ratings on Untapped, our favorite beer rate app.
Very nice. Yeah, so let's just crack these open because I don't think anybody wants to talk too much right now. Let's just open up the beers, kids. And then we will talk how we procured these and Jake's
got the
Jake's debacle.
Classic golden Founders barrel aged bottle cap here. On the inside, it says that little barrel age action.
Yeah, that's what they have on all of their barrel age series.
Adam, do you know the next one that will be in the barrel age series this year?
I do not. Do you?
I do.
All right.
I do. I was doing a little bit of homework before I came over today. Getting my learn on.
Look at you.
I'll give you a hint. It
was a beer that I had here that had no legs.
Oh, really? They're going to do that one again, eh?
Eh?
The bastard?
The backwoods.
I know. I was 2 weeks in Canada, and I'm saying, eh. Sorry. Eh. There we go. So a lot of head on this one. And, of course, with the barrel aging, it has the kind of caramel color head, not like a white like you sometimes see. Now let's sniff it. What are you smelling, Gina? What you're sniffing? What's your sniff, Gina?
Chocolate.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to.
And coffee on the back end. Mine didn't pour as well as your guys's, which I'm surprised. I'm usually a better pour than you guys.
Yeah, there's no head there. I've got
oh wow,
little first show anxiety for Gina there. She just totally didn't. What did you do there? You didn't pour aggressively.
Did you pour straight down the side, the whole pour?
No, not the whole pour. Only about a quarter of the way. I must have not poured too far into the middle. But let me ask you a question. Do you think that changes the flavor of the beer? Because I think it tastes pretty good.
You already tasted it? Oh, you just
Oh.
out of order.
Gosh darn it,
Rookie
guys.
mistake. Rookie mistake. As Chad sucking on his finger, although he does that a lot, and that could not be totally unrelated to the beer. With Chad, you just don't know.
You never know where these fingers have been or where they're going.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh,
They're all over the place.
no.
Those fingers could tell stories. Oh my.
Right.
Oh my.
Oh my, indeed. They'd be horrible, scary stories. All right, so Jake, what are you smelling, kiddo?
So I'm getting a little bit of vanilla here. Definitely some coffee. And on the end there, some chocolate. Some chocolate. It smells delicious.
You got the chocolate on the back end. That's interesting.
Check out that day.
I will say not in the smell, not a lot of bourbon.
No, I don't
Yeah.
really smell bourbon on the nose.
Yeah, it's bourbon week.
Bourbon week? Like it's the week of bourbon, or it's just not very strong?
It's not very strong.
I was watching a beer review on this, and the guy literally was like sticking the bottle like this. He's like, then he go to the other side. He's like, it's like, dude, I mean, get in there. I mean, I give
I've seen that guy do that before. I think it's always like you go both nostrils. You know?
Yeah, it's like called draft therapy.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
guy.
I mean, it was like up to like that where I was like, this guy's
That's
got
the guy.
it.
He's from Michigan. He does only almost
Only
only
Michigan
Michigan beers. Yeah.
It was good. It
He's
was
got
dry.
he's got some cool graphics and stuff. So, all right, we're gonna drink this thing or what?
I've been waiting.
Nah,
You haven't been waiting. You already drank it. What are you talking about?
I think we'll just talk about it.
Let's talk about it for a little bit.
I've been waiting. I thought I drank this, but I didn't.
That'll be the next story, there, Jing. Oh man.
Babe, let me taste yours. I feel like mine tastes different.
It's definitely not.
Adam, I need to taste yours too.
Jake, can I taste yours real quick, Jake?
No, mine's good. But just pour some of yours into mine
Why don't you guys want to taste mine?
because your fingers have been all over it.
And you say we don't know where they've been, but we've got a pretty good idea.
Well, it's definitely not bourbon week in the taste.
No.
Not at all. Not at all.
A lot of chocolate though. Very, very chocolatey.
Very chocolatey up front, very coffee in the finish.
Yeah.
Very bourbony in the finish.
Yes. And I honestly don't remember the 2017 that we had. Although Jake has some.
You have some.
I do have one.
Chad will have some soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Vertical going.
getting that bottle.
What are you in trade me, Chad?
You know what? I haven't even looked to see what I've got yet. Other than I know I have that Peruvian. But I'll end up with a few more things in the next couple weeks before I make the trade. So,
Ooh, trading. So, Gina, what's your thoughts on this? What are you tasting so far, and what do you think you rate it first?
So I think that I'll go backwards. I think this might be my highest rated beer. I think I may rate it at like a 4.5 initial, which I don't think I've rated any beers over a 4.25. The latest one was Juicy Pants, which is totally a different beer than this. But, I really enjoy this beer, and we had it earlier today, and I was thinking how far I'd come in my beer tastings. It's such a good beer. It's so different than what I would normally drink. I think that, there's a couple different kind of beers. There's the beers that you want to drink on a hot, warm day or when you're barbecue or sitting around with your friends, hanging out. And then there's a beer that you just kind of want to sip and enjoy. And this is definitely a beer that I just sit and enjoy, not in a hurry to drink it. It's really smooth on the finish. I like the notes of chocolate and coffee and the bourbon. I just feel like they've done a really good job of balancing it. I don't know that everybody would be there with their first sip of KBS, because I think for some people it might take a while to get there because the bourbon flavors are different. Those have really just come into popularity within the last 18 to 24 months, maybe. I mean, I should get used to that, right? Right. So I think that, for me, I've come a long way in my beer palate in the last even just 6 months, and I really, really enjoy this beer. But it's a sippy kind of a beer for me. Like I'm going to sip on it during, an episode of The Walking Dead and just sip on it the whole way.
Specific show to sip it to.
I would.
Right.
Jake, this is a good Walking Dead beer. Jake knows what I'm saying.
I agree. And let me say, as the returning star guest, which I'm always happy to be here, Gina is awesome. You are the special guest. So we have a star guest and a special guest tonight.
A super special guest.
Fans are going to be super happy that they can take a break from these two numbskulls. And I will say, Gina, you're certainly the best dressed tonight. I mean, we had
right. I know. By far.
We all feel like a bunch of scrubs next to you. But my palate's been on a similar journey. These guys got me trying stouts, trying barrel aged. I was not in that arena when this show started. I started to appreciate those types of beers as this show kept going. And now I'm to the point where I'm looking for them. I love them. I do think this is, and what's different, you made a point about it, is I used to just drink beer let's see how many Coors Lights I can drink, right? Fuck you, Adam. Sorry. He didn't even say anything. I just knew somewhere in his head he was thinking it. But you're right. I mean, this is like a beer you sip over an hour. It'd be great during a show. I was at Beer Bazaar, and I was talking to the owner there, and his buddy was sitting there. And his buddy made the comment that I like KBS, because we were talking about KBS, and they were showing me some other beers that they thought were similar, because he didn't have any KBS to sell. So he was trying to recommend something different. And the owner's buddy was sitting there going, yeah, that's a good one. But, I'm almost to the point in the year where I can't drink stouts anymore. It's too warm out. I spend a lot of time on the beach. I was like, this guy doesn't look like he spends time on the beach, but whatever. It's not. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to drink this outside in the heat, necessarily. But I'm really to a point where I think I'll drink stouts all year, especially sipping it for an hour at night, maybe a cigar on fire, a show.
Well, Chad, you drink them year round, don't you, Chad?
Hey, oh yeah, I drink them all the time, and it doesn't matter, sunshine, day, daylight, nighttime, around a fire, on a boat, doesn't matter. I'll drink them anytime. It's just something I'm usually in the mood for.
Have you ever just drunk them out in the sun, Chad? Like you're out there sweating, and you're just sipping on a nice heavy barrel aged stout?
Yeah, absolutely. I usually.
He just said the word though. He just said heavy, guys. So
did Jake said heavy?
Jake just said heavy barrel aged stout, and I'm not poking fun at you on purpose, but I think that a couple of things. One is that Jake is talking about behaviors, right? So behaviorally, people don't drink the darker, richer beers during the spring and summer, maybe getting into fall for sure. So it's kind of a behavior change, right? Chad, you're just a unique guy. I don't know many people that would sit on a boat in 90 or 80 degree weather drinking a barrel-aged stout, because it's a warmer kind of a beer. But we were with some family today, and I said to Adam, "Why don't you crack open a bottle of that KBS? Let's share it with them." And my sister-in-law, love her, but she was like, "Yeah, it's a heavy beer." And I'm like, oh, there's that word again. Now, Adam used to make fun of me when I said heavy beer, but I think that, people have this idea of first of all, the color of a beer. Like you can't drink a dark beer during spring and summer because it's a dark beer. You drink it when the weather is colder because it's a warmer beer. We're going to be drinking all kinds of Mars, New England IPAs, this summer. I'm tasking Jake with making sure that we stay stocked on those because they're fantastic.
I have a new Mars. It's delicious.
I'm jealous. We're gonna have to try that later. But don't you guys think that's interesting though? Because and I apologize, I have not caught up on every single podcast, most of them, but behaviorally, like Jake and I were saying, that we have come a long way in the past, 6 to 12 months when it comes to the kinds of beers that we're enjoying. But I think that people are very much in this behavior, and I think it's probably infused by the big manufacturers. It's all about how many Coors can you drink, Bud Light,
How many Coors can you drink?
But do you guys think the same? I don't know. Chad, you
Find out.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna pause this conversation for 1 second.
Okay.
Because so far we only have Gina's rating.
Oh.
So, Jake, what is your rating on it? I'm just there out of the gate, first impression rating.
Out of the gate, it hits right at a 4.
Okay. Cadillac?
4.5.
4.5. Nice. Why is that? What's tingling your fancy about this one?
Gina, did you check in already?
Don't. I know she's making all sorts of logistical errors here. It's her first time. It's all right.
I can change it, maybe.
You can edit it. Yes.
Yes, you
Okay,
can.
here's what I know about myself. I'm pretty rock solid on my opinion. What I think is what I think. I don't think it will change. So
I think that's not a surprise to anybody on this podcast.
I got my phone sitting here on the charger, and it just said Regina checked in KBS 2018. I'm like, we've had like 2 sips. although
we had it earlier today.
You guys have had it earlier.
Maybe it's love at first sight. You know.
I will. Actually, go and do your rating and tell. I mean, you gave your rating, but what do you?
Well,
4.5 is pretty high to start out with. Is that what you said? 4.5? Did you say 4.5?
yeah. 4.5.
So what's your reasoning for that, Senior?
Well, that little sample of 2017 that we got, I rated it a 4.5. I'm interested to see what I'm going to think of that and drinking a full bottle. But I really don't have any reason to rate it any lower than that because I like it just as much.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I would agree.
So.
I was actually going to be curious to hear how you guys might feel about the 2017 compared to the 2018 because every year
That could be
the
another
flavor
show.
notes might be a little bit different. I'll be curious to see kind of how you guys feel.
The
I
guy
had
at
2017 recently, so I can talk about that later.
the guy at Antioch Liquors liked 17 better. He told us.
Yeah,
Eric segregated too.
I can't
Oh,
draw
did he?
direct
Yeah, he hit me
comparison
back
here.
and he segregator. Yeah.
What, Chad?
So I can't draw a direct comparison here, obviously, because I don't have 17 sitting next to me.
I can't remember it.
I just know
Not
that.
anymore,
I mean,
doesn't
I checked it in at a 4.5, and from what I remember of it, it just makes sense to me to start at a 4.5 because I just like it.
Yeah.
It's just it's really good. It's from what I can remember, similar enough that I can't rate it lower than that.
Outside of accessibility, there's nothing disappointing about this beer.
Outside of accessibility, you said?
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
good point.
Yep. Okay, so me? My turn. Yeah. I'm gonna do a 4.25. I don't even know what I rated it last time. I just tried to look it up and I couldn't find it. But if anybody could find it, let me know what I rated the 17 because I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure you gave it a 4. Oh, the 17? Oh, I don't know.
Because like you were saying, you were kind of looking at what you gave 17 compared to this. So
Yeah.
but I'm going to start at 4.25. It's really good, and I will say today we had it for Easter lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the perfect Easter beer. It's chocolatey.
It's really good.
It's really good. But so that's our initial ratings. Now, Jake, you want to tell your story about the beer confusion?
Wait. Before we do that,
Yeah.
I just wanted to, because we were talking about what Gina was talking about, and we jump back to.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And I kind of feel like because I drink stouts and I'll put it in air quotes, heavy beers all year round. But I think heavy beers, the word heavy associated with a beer is a kind of a misnomer because
Right.
Just to say a beer is heavy, there's no meaning behind it. So does a heavy beer to someone just mean that it's dark? Does a heavy beer to someone else mean that it's high in alcohol and it's dark?
I think it's also how some of these beers make them feel. Like after you drink it, you feel heavier. But that's also, again, back to I think what Gina said is that, big beer has all these commercials telling us on it's a light beer and like, it's, you can drink 15 of them and not feel, weighed down. That's what big beers, all those commercials about Bud Light, well, especially like Michelob Ultra and all that crap. It's like that.
I don't know if there's any scientific information out there to say that a dark beer, a stout like this is any more filling than, say, a lager. I mean, it would be more filling, obviously, than a Bud Light or Miller Lite because they are branded as less filling beers, and they've done their due diligence to design that beer to meet that marketing standard. But
Right.
this beer compared, I would say compare it to like a Maui Bikini Lager, which is an awesome beer I think to drink in the summertime when it's hot. To me, I don't really feel like I'm going to get any more full feeling off of drinking this than I would the Bikini Lager.
So then it comes down to being more seasonal, right? People tend to think of a stout porter as a wintertime
Fall winter beer.
wintertime beer. And to that though, breweries have kind of accepted that cycle. Because you'll see more of the stouts porters like being
Well,
released.
they do a lot more seasonal beers.
Yeah,
right?
you haven't seen that being released in the fall.
Yeah, the calendars show.
Yeah.
They follow that.
Exactly.
Jake, did you have a thought? You kind of had a little smirk on your face when I was talking there. So what did you have a feeling or a thought about the?
I regretted using the word heavy, and I knew that you were going to get into your, that's not
well, no, but see, that's
that I want to hear. I didn't mean.
You quit using the word heavy because I knew you were just going to beat my ass over it.
I know that all 12-ounce beers weigh the same. I meant more towards sort of that thickness, that lasting taste, that booziness. And me personally, I do feel more full when I drink a beer like this compared to a lager. That's my. And maybe it's in my head. Maybe it's like a placebo effect.
I agree 100%. I'm already kind of full, and I'm on a quarter of the way full of this. Yeah.
But the point I made earlier, the thing I said to the guy at Beer Bazaar, the buddy of the owner, was, I'm going to drink this kind of stuff all year. Now, will I drink it out in the sun?
No.
I don't know about that. But I'm not taking a month off. If I come across a beer, or I'm with you guys, or if I'm just like, it's been a while since I cracked something open from downstairs, I'm going to do it.
We're going to sit by the fire and do it. This is like at the end of the day, like I want to wind down and sip. During the day, I think we're able to kind of drink them a little more quickly and easily. And at the end of the day, it's like I want to sit down. It's kind of like I think a lot of women think of a nice glass of wine. You don't pound through a glass of wine. And this is kind of like the equivalent to my glass of wine, has become my new equivalent to my glass of wine.
Some of them kind of pound them down. Yeah, it depends on
And I didn't mean to poke fun at you, but I think that a lot of people use that word heavy, and I think it's trying to understand kind of what they mean when they say that, to try to break down and understand it at a level so that you can get people to a point to where they feel like they can enjoy it. Because I feel like there's a lot of stereotypes into stouts. As soon as I told my sister-in-law it was a stout, even my brothers, oh, it's a heavier kind of beer for me. And
exactly. That's exactly the reaction when you told them it was a stout. Like, oh yeah, no, I don't like those. Yeah. And like, no, you'll try this one. This one's different.
I used to be that guy too.
Yeah,
same. It wasn't until we went to Lakefront we did that brewery tour where that guy ripped us for using the word heavy. He's like, they all weigh the same.
No, his name. Yeah. What were we saying, Chad?
I think this is the word heavy is more okay with me as a descriptor, and that's why I'm not kind of jumping all over this, because we're using a word like, you wouldn't say, oh, I don't want to drink this beer, it's too big for me, right? Or this
given the word big,
this one's too bold for me, or those words I hate when in trying to describe a beer. But when you're talking, it's just so commonly known or commonly accepted that the dark beers are considered a heavy beer on an individual basis. It's either going to work for you or it's not. And for me, it works all year round. For other people, it won't.
Well, I also think
you're from Wisconsin. It's pretty cold all year round.
Well, I also think though that part of the heaviness, by saying it's heavy, also has to do with like the viscosity of it, like how it feels in your mouth, right? Like when on your tongue, it coats differently, so it feels like heavier on your tongue as opposed to like a lager or a light beer where it just feels like water, right? I mean, it's just coating your tongue like water would coat your tongue. Whereas these beers definitely have a thicker viscosity to it in your mouth, so it definitely coats, and maybe that's where the heavy came from. That's just
maybe that's where it comes from, because it feels heavier going down.
Yeah, in your mouth.
It may not actually be filling you up,
right?
But it might feel like it's filling you up,
right?
I think that's well said, though, Adam.
Thank you.
Exactly what I mean when I say heavy, like the coating of the back of my tongue and throat, and that lasting effect is definitely
And
different.
just so you know, that's like I'm done with smart statements for like a month. So
That was quite a word.
It was.
yeah,
When he
I
was
actually googled
talking,
viscosity over here because I don't even know what I said and I don't even know what it meant. So
Actually, if the viewers want to know the truth, like his eyes closed and he like leaned back like he was blacked out, but he said this incredibly intelligent thing.
and then when I'm done saying it, I'm just completely exhausted. I don't know where that came from.
Now he needs to recharge. But I'll tell you guys, like drinking more stouts and just different beers really in general. Recently, well, for St. Patty's Day, I had a couple of Guinness. And I remember back in the day, I was like, I liked Guinness, but I was totally that person who was like, oh, this is heavy, and I was using it in a bad way, and I'm only going to have one. Let me tell you guys, after this last 4 months, I was pounding that Guinness. It was going down. That was like watered out. I was like, shit, I need to slow down.
Well, I will say though, Guinness, after having like barrel aged like this, like Three Sheep Veneration, Guinness has no flavor in comparison.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's completely different animal. And other even non-barrel aged stouts I've had, then you go back and drink a Guinness, you're like, there's not a lot of flavor to this.
Okay, so it's not just me, because when you were in Canada and I posted that I was drinking that Guinness, I thought, where's the flavor
No,
to
it's not
this?
just you.
Like, it was beautiful to pour. I mean, let's be real. That kind of beer it's beautiful to
That's
pour.
half the fun of the Guinness is watching the pour.
Right. But then I was like, where's the flavor? You've ruined me. You boys have all ruined me.
I don't know if I don't think that's the right word. Ruining's not the right word.
You're right.
You've been enlightened.
Helped me evolve.
I'll tell you how you can fix a Guinness though, or improve it. Take a shot glass, put in about a half ounce of Jameson, a half ounce of Bailey's, drop that in the Guinness, and chug it like your life depends on it.
Let's do that next year. Why didn't you invite me over to do that? I was all alone on St. Patrick's Day. Rudeness. Where's the love between neighbors?
I mean, a boys in Canada respecting international boundaries here.
But Lauren could have sent me a text and brought me over. I would have loved it. Lauren and I could have been drinking, although we did have to raise kids and go to work the next day. So,
And I just had to, physically be at work. Let's call it. So I was. Yeah, we'll do some Irish car bombs next year.
That'd be good. I've actually never had an Irish carbon, for the record.
Ooh, boy.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. A lot I haven't had.
So I got one of my buddies.
Gotta be able to gulp.
On to join on tap, so he's been checking in beers out there. It's a pretty decent craft beer scene, but this guy loves St. Patrick's Day. Like it's his best day of the year. So he, what does he do? He does an Irish car bomb, and he loves it so much that he gives Guinness a 5. But it wasn't because of the Guinness; it's just because he was having fun doing car bombs. Well, you go, Dave. You go, buddy.
Give Guinness a 5. I don't think I've rated anything a 5 yet.
But it wasn't just. It was a car bomb Guinness, but yeah, it was good.
I wonder if anybody would be willing to do a Grand Rapids car bomb with one of these.
I would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
What's a Grand Rapids car bomb?
2018, I would.
Well, an Irish car bomb is Guinness with Jameson and Bailey's. So you just take one of these, take a KBS, and
gotcha.
So I think the question is, how many KBS do you have backup? Because don't you kind of drink that really fast, Jake?
I have 3 2018s after this, and I got 2 2017s, but one's ticketed for Chad.
And you've got
not much.
You've got another 4-pack of KBS coming too from me.
From Shadowlock, I do. I tried very hard to find KBS. I probably checked out, I don't know, at least 5 places around here. Every place I got to, like I just missed it. But the day that it did come out outside of Michigan, which was the 30th, this past Friday, that day my wife was at a local supermarket, Meijer. She was there at right around noon when they were releasing it there. She got in line, big ass line for it. Anyways, she got 1 4-pack. They were only letting people purchase a single 4-pack. Fast forward to that night, I'm like, I'm super jacked that I got 1 4-pack. I'm like, well, I'm totally going to have one tonight. Can't wait to check this in. Anyways, I pour it. I'm drinking it. My parents are in town. My dad's not a beer drinker. He thinks it's good. My wife's not a beer drinker. She thinks it's good. Everybody's like, man, that's awesome stuff. I'm enjoying it. I'm like halfway through it. My wife's checking the bottle because she's curious about the ABV. Really, she's curious how drunk I'm getting. But, she's looking on the bottle for the ABV, and she's looking at it. She's like, Jake, can you come over here? I'm like, yeah, what's up? She's like, on the back of the bottle, it says 2017 release. I'm like, what? No. She shows it to me. I'm like, shit, you're right. So I go downstairs, and the reason that I had previously had a 4-pack, and maybe I'll tell a couple stories later, I was in Grand Rapids last weekend, and I traded a guy a 4-pack of Death Star for a 4-pack of KBS. So I run downstairs, and I grab one of those bottles, and I bring it up. And the back of that bottle says 2018 release, and the one I was drinking said 2017 release. So,
Shysters.
And here's the thing, like multiple people, Adam talked to some people, Eric, who checked in with me on Untapped because I wrote on Untapped that I thought I was drinking 2018, but it was 2017. A lot of people said 2017 is better. And now that I'm drinking this, I won't break it down now. Maybe later in my final I will. But I will say I do think 2017 is better. But it just kind of pisses me off. I tried to get it. I'm a working dad. I don't have a lot of time to wait in lines. I'm getting pictures of people in Texas, hearing stories of people in California where they're just like pallets of this. So yeah, it was frustrating. Not that I'm not happy that I got the 2017. That's cool. Happy to give one to Adam. Happy to trade with Chad here. A year or two from now we can do a vertical. That's all awesome. But yeah, it pissed me off. I tweeted at Founders. I tweeted at Meyer to get a response back. Got an email Founders. I mean, I'm not expecting they're not going to send me anything. I just kind of want them to know. Like, I know they're trying to grow their markets, but I think they're missing out on some of their fans that are right here.
Yeah, I think actually that's something we'll probably get into after we do the halfway point, where we give our halfway mark on the beers because everybody's getting close, right?
Yeah.
Gina, you're not even halfway. Come on, girl. Chug a lug here. Keep going.
Babe, the bottle is gone. I'm halfway.
My bottle's gone too. Come on.
Small glass.
You need to get halfway on the glass.
It's still
Come
12
on.
ounces.
Actually, if you
It's
look
still
at
12
it,
ounces.
I probably drank more than all of you at this point.
Oh, jeez. Ridiculous. But yeah, we could talk about some Founders stuff. I tweeted Founders, and you saw that because I tagged you in it too. But I also ended up tweeting Stone Greg and asked him a couple questions just because of all the brew people I know. I'm like, no, I Twitter know. He's the one that I thought would be honest, right? Like, Chad, and all this.
And that would respond.
And it would respond. And he did respond. So we'll go over that. We'll talk about that. Maybe my little beef with Founders here in just a minute after we do the halfway.
And I may add into that because I did spend a decent amount of time talking to the owner proprietor at Beer Bazaar about his relationship with the regional distributor.
Yeah, and actually, and I can add to that. I had some other tweets that I talked to. I went back and forth on Twitter about a guy about distribution, how it works, and why maybe they're bundled the way they are. So we're at the halfway point. So most of us, except for Gina, she's slacking. Gina, what's
Okay, for the record, my KBS bottle is empty.
So is mine.
And I have a much smaller glass than both of you. And
12
I'm
ounces is
halfway
12
down with my
ounces.
glass.
No matter what size of glass, it's 12 ounces.
Okay, here's the thing. I told you guys,
Really?
rated it at 4.5 in the beginning. I maintain my 4.5. There is nothing about this beer that I don't like. It's easy to drink. It's got some great flavor to it. It's not overpowering. It's different, like it's the perfect kind of beer to drink, like at 8:00 at night.
Has it changed though since its beginning? Now to this half, have you noticeably any flavor change?
Well, yeah, because here's the reason why. So again, it's a sipping beer, so the flavors kind of linger on in your mouth and in your taste buds. So the longer you drink it and you kind of sip it, the more prominent some of those flavors become. So I still taste all the same flavors, but they're a lot more like powerful, so to speak. And plus it's a little bit warmer. So when you drink it and it's cold, it tends to go down a little more quickly. As it warms up, feels like it lingers a little bit longer. So I feel like the flavors are more enjoyable now than they were when we first started drinking it. It's still 4.5 for me.
Sweet. Jake, any change? Has it changed at all while you've been sipping this first half?
Gina, I just want to say as guest star to special star, I'm here to help you finish that if you need some help. I know the glass looks like you're doing well.
Mine,
so I'm here
mine.
So I'm still getting about the same amount of, what hits the hardest here is the coffee and then the chocolate. What I will say as it warms, that I am smelling more and tasting more and enjoying more is the booziness.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like that sort of bourbon flavor is coming out as it warms up. So for me, my Chubbo-meter is rising. I'm going to kick this up to a 4.25.
Way to go.
I'm enjoying myself over here. And I will say when I was watching that beer therapy nerd guy, he went to the limits of putting in a thermometer. He wanted to drink it at 55. When he was doing his beer review, it was at 51 point something. So it was close to what he wanted it at, but not quite. 4.25.
Yay, Jake.
Getting busy.
Cadillac.
Well, I gotta say that the bottle says that it makes your taste buds squeal with delight, and mine are. And
mine are.
Is that why you zoomed in?
Yeah, he zoomed in because he's squealing with the light.
If we go into the next session, the camera's just going to be in my mouth.
Oh boy!
Hold on a second.
And
that's for the late night edition.
This
Really
bottle
to the other show.
This bottle was brewed or was bottled on Valentine's Day. So, yeah,
so sweet.
Where's mine at? I don't know where mine was when mine was bottled.
It loves me.
Wait, Chad, where'd you find that?
Bottled on 3/6/18 at 11:55.
Yeah, it's in white lettering just to the left of the UPC.
I was bottled on 2/21 at 10:36.
That's cool. We're only a couple. Like this was literally bottled just a couple of weeks ago.
Nice. 4.5. I will stay.
Ooh, Cheddar, can you confirm something for me?
What's KBS need?
I have been told that the bomber bottle does not have the same date right there.
You are correct. I was looking for that. I don't know if you guys.
Hot damn!
I don't know if you saw me looking around while you were.
Oh yeah.
While Gina was rating, but the bomber bottle is lacking detail. It's
right,
literally. It's just. There's no
did my research. You got a fancy word I did reading.
It's good you finally read something. So it doesn't give a year?
Oh, the year's on it. It says.
It doesn't tell you when it's bottled on.
Bottle date.
Oh, gotcha.
It is 2018. The 2018 release, but no date or time is given. The back of the bottle is just blank.
Gotcha. Well,
That's interesting. Why do you think they did that? Is it at the top anywhere? Is it around the top label?
No, I looked. Because sometimes they do digital printing on the glass.
Yep,
the beer bag.
they don't have that on there.
Nope. It's virgin glass.
Ooh, so did you happen to pick up one of those bombers for your bestest of friends in Illinois?
He wouldn't let me have one.
Jerk.
Hey, Kala, did your boy? Did he sell out the next day?
Well, I left. I got my KBS early. He told me he couldn't. He told me I couldn't tell anybody ahead of when I got it.
You just told everybody.
On the day of. He said
millions and millions of listeners now.
No. He said don't go out and broadcast
Billions.
Thursday night. That I sold it early, but I did get it Thursday because then I was out of town for the weekend. I have not been back to Ridgeview or talked to Chris since then, so I don't know if he still has any or if it's gone. I'm sure it's gone.
So real quick, I'll give my rating, and we'll real quickly jump into some of these stories about founders. Who was that?
That was me.
Oh, okay. It was kind of weak, Chad. I was about to call it a Jake.
Wasn't me.
Well, I tempered it. I honestly did temper it a little bit because Gina's here. So
don't hold back, because
Chad, we've been friends long enough. You don't have to temper it. I think I saw you in your Packers boxer briefs running to the bathroom. I'm just kidding.
She's being nice.
It was being nice. It was a Packers thong.
Well, I'm pretty sure that you showed your tuchus in the rear view camera of the pilot when I was backing out at some point.
Yeah, so
I'm
that's
really
right.
certain that happened.
Yeah.
I think I've seen more of Chad's crack than I've seen of Adam's crack, quite frankly.
I heard the color room was dark, like no sunlight was coming through.
It's like looking into the dark hole of your soul.
And don't worry, there's more where that came from.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, that crevice is deep. There's plenty more. So I'm going to stay at 425 right now.
Guys, what is it going to take to put you over the 425? Like, what are you looking for?
I don't know, but right now I will say, let me finish. Gosh, dang it, woman.
Let the man
Man.
talk, woman.
I think there are some people who are just will never. It's like, if we work in a service, I work in a service industry, and you have to ask, I do implementation. You have to ask clients how you do, and there are some clients who will just never give you the perfect score. I feel like I'm amongst beer connoisseurs who will never have the perfect.
We've given perfect scores out.
Oh yeah,
We've
to
given
what?
5s.
To what?
I just gave a 5.
CBS, Bourbon County,
I just gave a 5 last
Veneration, I think.
Well, Chad
know
is
if I
given
gave
more.
V.
Death Star is a 5 for me.
Oh,
Yes,
that's
yeah.
so good. I mean, it's better when I'm not wearing it, but it's so really, really good.
Whoa.
You're
After
kidding.
hours.
No, remember the cutest
You
little
tell
girl spilled it, and I ended up wearing it, but it was super good.
So we went up to Woodman's. That's where we got ours. He had told us there that the day before, because you had said also when your beer was on, they said that Woodman's was nuts. So I asked him and I confirmed it. He's like, yeah, it was.
It was nuts.
He's like, it was a madhouse here, and he was like, I was surprised we didn't sell out. So when we get there, I'd be lined for like where the bottle age stuff usually is, and I pretty much given up that I was going to get KBS. Gina goes in, and did you ask somebody or?
I just asked him. I said, hey,
Yeah.
you don't happen to have any more KBS 2018. I just wanted to clarify because of Jake's horrific experience was the biggest, disillusion of all. And he said, actually, yeah, we do. He had 4 more cases left. You could only buy one a piece. So I bought one, and Adam got in line behind me, and he bought another one. But yeah, he was surprised too that he still had some left, and he goes, "It should be gone by." He's like, "It'll be gone by the afternoon." And I think the guy in front of me, like there was 2 guys in front of me that was at the checkout, and he heard me say KBS, and he was like, "Can I get some KBS?" I don't think it was on the counter before I said it, so I think he was thinking, "There's no way they're gonna have it." Didn't bother to ask for it, and then when I said, "Hey, do you have it?" He's like, "Yeah." He was like, "Oh, I'll take one of those too," and I kind of was smiled at him. I was like, "Yeah, you go with your KBS."
So now one of the issues that I know Jake, well, actually all 4 of us have talked to Gene about this too. One of the issues that we've taken with founders and this release of this, and as well as CBS, is that the way in which they do it, right? So it seems as though they purposefully limit how much they're making. And then the way they release it, I guess they're just trying to be nice to the state of Michigan where they're from, right? They release it in Michigan for a month, or is it 3 weeks, or?
I have a story about that, but go ahead and finish your thought.
Well, then they start rolling it out to the other states, and so they build up this kind of frenzy. Same thing that Apple does. They limit the production of the iPhone in order to build lines and frenzy and like
Scarcity marketing.
They're going, oh my gosh, if I don't get in line now, I'm just not going to get it for another couple months. So I
Keeps the
tweeted.
price point high.
Yep, exactly.
High.
Yep. So I tweeted out to Stone Greg. So if you don't know, Stone Greg is the co-founder of Stone Brewing out in California. And I just kind of asked him about that. And I'm trying to find my exact. I asked him, is restricting production of a popular Beetlejuice acoustic band, crate lines, and hype a common practice in craft beer? He responded with kind of funny. He's like, "You're asking a complex questions via Twitter, kind of a tough format." But he said, with 6,000 plus breweries, you can find examples of just about everything. Marketing scarcity is common, i.e. the lines phenomena. He said, we don't generally go that direction and opting to try to meet market demand.
I'm gonna call bullshit on him. But go ahead.
Why? What would you call bullshit on that?
Because I went to like 6 different places trying to find that Tiltarian, and I couldn't find it.
I've actually seen it a couple times. I saw the
Where?
Beer Bazaar. I saw Beer Bazaar. I saw the Antic Liquors, and up at Woodman's.
Well, you must have been out the day it was out because I checked 2 out of 3 of those.
It's
places.
up at Woodman's right now. I just didn't want to buy a 6-pack of it because I was already buying a KBS.
Buy it, and I'll split with you. Doink bag.
Hey, Jake, I'll just get you one.
Thank you, Chad.
Chad's a much
here-
better friend.
Somebody get me one.
It's well, I mean, Ridgeview has. He gave me the box that it came in to bring my KBS home. So he's got. When I was there on Thursday, he had 8 6-packs sitting out.
I mean, maybe the places I went, they just don't know what the hell they're ordering. They just, let me get the IPA delicious because they don't know. It's possible.
Yeah. Now, you did tell us a story that when you were at Beer Bazaar, the guy told you about the shady distributor.
So, yeah. And I also have some things that happened to me when I was in GR last week that maybe we'll get into later. But when I was at Beer Bazaar and I was talking to the owner and his buddy, this guy deals with the distributors. And so we're talking about KBS. And, I didn't prompt this, but, well, actually, I asked him, I was like, hey, do you think you'll ever have like a keg of CBS on tap? Because he has different beers on tap there. I didn't expect him to get any to sell, but I was like, do you think you'll get a keg to tap sometime? Anyways, he goes on to tell me that the local distribution in our area here in Illinois, which I want to say was in Lakeview or something around Chicago. I recognized it. It's escaping me at the moment. Anyways, he goes on to say, he's like, this guy's got 60 cases of CBS. They made way more CBS than anybody realized.
Cases? I thought it was bottles.
No, he's got 60 cases, which probably all have 12 bottles in them of CBS. And he's going around, when people ask for them, he'll be like, no, that's for an event. So he won't, if you ask for him, he'll talk to the hand. But every once in a while, he'll come around and he'll be like, hey, how you doing? He'll be like, hey, you buy 8 cases of Sumatra, I'll give you 1 case of CBS. So they're using,
Which they've been doing that already.
Shady, slimy snake.
Okay,
I asked him.
That's how I got it.
I'm like, are all these
Yeah,
distributors like this? Is this common practice? And this is almost verbatim from the proprietor of Beer Bazaar, who deals with distributors from all different places. He said, in some degree, yes, this is common practice that they'll try to save their best stuff to push their other stuff, especially new stuff. He's like, that's not necessarily, different than what anybody else does. But he did say, he's like, I feel like Founders has been changing. He's like, I feel like they're kind of gangster. I feel like it's like dealing with the mob when I'm trying to get shit from them, and it's frustrating.
Well, let me ask a question though. Do you think that's really Founders, or do you think it's the distributors? Because you're not working with anybody that's working.
I was going to ask Adam and Chad that. Do the distributors work for Founders, or do they work as contractors separate of Founders that own distribution
I think
routes?
contractors. That
Well, if it's set up the same way that larger beer companies set up, they do hire a distributor and work for them. It is a contract, but they do work for the brewer.
Right. And so what I found out, off of this story, because I tweeted also about that and asking if that was common practice, if that's something that we see. Stone Greg didn't respond to that part of it, but I did have another guy jump in who's in craft beer in some way, shape, or form. But he said that a lot of not even just distributors, but stores around him will do that exact same thing. And that's what Chad had too. He had to buy Sumatra in order to get the CBS, I think, Chad, right?
I didn't, but yeah, the store had to buy Sumatra. Yeah, that's
yeah. Okay, so it was a store. Okay,
the store did.
So
Okay.
the reasoning why they bundle it that way is because, and this is directly Founders. So what the breweries like this like to do is give more of these special release products to the distributor that moves more of their beer. So if, Jake distributor moves more Founders than Chad distributor, you're going to get more of the CBS and the KBS. So if Chad distributor is trying to catch up to Jake, what he's going to do is he's going to bundle that with another Founders beer to boost those Founders sell numbers to move up that list to get more of the CBS, KBS next time.
Fair enough. But I read one article about 3 weeks ago saying that not that Founders is doing bad, but that the only big beer that they've had this year so far is KBS, and that Solid Gold, while doing okay, has not quite had the release that they were hoping for. And then the other thing I'll say is, even though I hear what you're saying, Adam, and that totally makes sense from a business perspective, and I can't blame them from that, we're still getting pictures from Dallas Dan of pallets of KBS just sitting there in Texas with nobody lined up. And these dudes are
California. I had a buddy from California text me also, and he's like, "Is this good?
Is this any good?"
I'm partially think he was joking, but I also partially don't think he was joking.
I don't think
because he doesn't even know really what that much about Founders.
When I was talking to the Beer Bazaar guy, and his good buddy was sitting there, and this guy, like, he seemed a little creepy, but he also told me he spent $300 on beer this week. So he seemed to be a pretty serious beer dude. He was showing me pictures on his phone of his buddy in California who could today walk into a store and there was CBS on the shelf and nobody was buying it.
And it's on sale.
Yeah, it was like $17.
How did you pay for yours?
Oh, well, I got it from Chad. What did we pay, Chad? 25?
25.
Yeah.
25 or 26.
Ours was $21.99 up at Woodman's.
Yeah, but Woodman's is a little bit probably broader.
Oh, wait. CBS or what are we talking about? CBS?
KBS. This round of KBS, sorry.
No, I'm talking, this guy showed me a picture of his buddy that saw CBS.
CBS on
Oh,
sale.
that's insane.
CBS on the shelf. Nobody was buying it.
There's no way we could find CBS on the shelf around here.
So clearly,
unless you're lucky like Chad.
The Texas example in the California is not because they have a salesperson out. I mean, I guess somebody sold it to the store, so fine, so be it. But clearly, they're more interested in growing that market than feeding
the ones that are right here next door, local.
Well, this is what I was saying to Adam. I feel like the beer should stand on its own. Like, you should sell it based on the demand of it. Now, I get that because bourbon barrel beers, like they have to, there's a little more equipment involved in that. It's the barrels, right? And then they have to wait a year. So they're probably not going to produce as much. But I feel like if they were to release it to the people that are asking for it, it's not like it's not going to sell. Like, that's what I don't get. People are going to buy it. I get wanting to, go out into another market, like trying to get out into Texas. Texans might be hard to crack. The Californians, I think they're going to be better with the New England IPA kind of thing, because it's California. But I just feel like it's kind of shady. And Adam and I were talking back when they created beer distributors, back after Prohibition. And I feel like the whole thing is a little bit shady. And it's disappointing to hear that someone referred to Founders getting a little bit gangster like.
That is, I didn't know that they're just getting gangster. Chad,
those were the words that they used.
What were you trying to say, Chad?
And Dick and the
hold on, Jenny.
Cool, and he looks a little bit gangstery. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Try to give Chad a chance.
There's another component to Founders and their marketing and distributorship that nobody knows about, nobody ever talks about. It's that 30% ownership of Mahou San Miguel. So,
oh, that's right.
Technically, they can't be called a craft beer because they're owned 30% by San Miguel.
Right. And when you have an investor at 30%, I mean, they have expectations.
Yep. They're pushing. They want money.
I'm not saying that's what it is, but
totally a
Founders
factor.
isn't just Founders. They've got a 30% stakeholder that expects a return.
Yeah.
So when I was in GR last week,
they own Mahou also owns Avery, or 30% Avery, I believe.
I like Avery.
Avery, yeah, I know. We got some good stuff there.
I have one that we're going to drink.
Oh,
that's as of November of 17. They bought 30% of Avery.
Wow.
So Chad, like when I was out there in GR last week, and I got a few stories, but I'll just this one real quick. I was trying to find KBS. I wanted to come home with a car full of KBS, right? But everywhere I went, you remember that part of Fight Club where he's flying around trying to figure out what's been going on, and everywhere he goes, he just missed Brad Pitt. and like he sees like people fighting in the street, but he just missed it. Like that's how I felt everywhere I went. Like I just missed KBS. So my brother takes me to this awesome craft beer store where you can grab anything, single bottle, single can, single bottle, single can, anything you want. You can make your own. You don't. It doesn't have to be a 6-pack. You just grab whatever you want, and that's what you pay for. Anyways, I go up to a woman working there. I'm like, I'm from out of town. This is probably a stupid question. And I'd already looked at the store. I was like, do you have any KBS? And you could tell she was passionate about it. She looked at me and she's like, it's bullshit. They hardly gave us any. We were out in a day. This is like a popular beer store there, a huge beer store. It's like Beer Bazaar times 3 or 4. I mean, a big place. And she goes on, without me prompting her, she goes on to say she's got friends that own liquor stores and friends. I don't know. I don't know if that's like a thing, knowing other people that are in that industry or whatever it is. But she was telling me about friends, and specifically in Texas, who were getting huge shipments that they could not get. And her opinion of it was, what she said was, they can make more money there, they get taxed less, and they're more interested in growing that market. So they were out in a day. They were not happy with what they got. She was getting pictures of friends and own liquor stores that were going to get a shitload. And to be honest, when Dallas Dan tweeted us that picture, it kind of backed up what she said.
Right.
Absolutely. But we're still going to drink it.
It's fucking
it's so good.
It's really good.
It's just so good.
Really good. Cheers.
Screw you, founders, but hey, I'm going to drink this anyway. This is good.
I don't know about you guys, but are we close to the end?
Are you wanting to be close to the end?
No. Please come pour yours in my glass so I'm less close to the end than I am now.
I don't know. I just thought of this. When we were on our break, Jake, I told you that I would check all my other bottles. They are all 2018. I did not get accidentally sold 2017.
Well, I'd be curious to know if that distributor, if it was just an accident, or if he's like, oh crap, I owe this place some too. I'll just grab a couple of those. Nobody will check. Like I wish I knew.
Grab some of those from last year. I've seen over here in the corner. Like,
I'd also be curious, like how much 2017 is still there in some distribution center.
Yeah. Why is it still sitting?
Well,
it's over in that corner next to those 60 cases of CPS.
Yeah.
And for that matter, why not 16? Because they're still serving 16 on draft.
What?
Yeah,
where are they doing that at?
I've heard of it. I haven't seen it.
It wasn't at Founders. They were on opening day. They had 16, 17, 18 on draft.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised Founders has it, but my question is how many distribution centers still have it?
Yeah.
Well, at Antioch Liquors, they were doing 2017 KBS and CBS. Then they ran out of 17, so then they tapped in 2018 KBS. So that's what we had when Gina and I went there. We had the 2018 KBS draft.
Very good on draft, fellas. I got to tell you, it's very good on draft.
But Adam, I have heard of liquor stores of like Antioch Liquor size who order as much as they can, get as much as they can, and then they themselves will store it for their own events.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they will do that too. I know craft beer store in Libertyville did that with Founders. Well, the one that we didn't like, the Bastard. They actually kept the keg over a year and then they just tapped it.
Which isn't to say that Antioch didn't get a new one with whatever deal they worked out with their distributor. I'm not saying that isn't a possibility. I'm just saying it's also a possibility that was just their own stash that they were saving for that event.
Yep, exactly. So we always do this in every show, and we always say we're going to do it quickly, but because of Chad, we never do it quickly. So we'll start with Gina. This is the part of the show where you tell us what you drank this week and give us highs and lows. What was a really good thing you had this week and a really shitty thing you had this week?
Well,
you hear that, Chad? Highs and lows, Chad. Not everything in between.
Hey, you guys are going to be pleasantly surprised because my list is very short this week.
All right, because we have 4 people to go through here, kids. Go ahead, G.
So I started with Juicy Pants on Sunday. Babe, who does that? Who's the
Maplewood? Out of Chicago.
It's very good.
I love the name of that beer.
I know. It's Juicy Pants. It was so good. And then
Well, tell real quickly the story to that is we went out. I got back from Toronto and we went out. Was it Saturday? Went grocery shopping or whatever, and you were like, I want a New England IPA. I want a New England IPA. So I stopped in at Antioch
I really
Liquors.
actually wanted Mars, Jake.
Yeah, she wanted Mars, but Antioch Liquors didn't have any
Jake
Mars.
has ruined me for Mars. I love Mars.
But you guys were drinking Chippa today, right? Where'd you get that?
That was the one you gave me. I still had in the fridge.
Yeah.
Oh,
I didn't know I had. I was actually saving it for a review that we were gonna do.
if you're ever ready to drop the zero and get with the Mars guy, Gina.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Oh god. Anyway,
So
she
we
wanted
went
a New England
looking for a
IPA.
New
We
England
tried to find one, but they didn't have any Mars. So the guy suggested Juicy Fan. So
And they are bigger than 12 ounce. I think they're probably like 16 ounce cans.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bigger than the standard. So I had that. And then we went wine tasting at Cooper's Hawk. And then let's just say I decided not to drink for a couple of days. So I had,
yeah, she had a little too much.
I was traveling for work.
I saw you out near PJ's the next day with the dog. Never mind. go
Yeah,
ahead.
you did. You saw me in my PJs pretty
There was
much
a look
for
on
the
your face like a New England hazy IPA.
mixed with a couple bottles of wine. Not good. Not good. This is why I prefer to drink beer over wine. But then I was in Las Vegas, Nevada, and I had
Viva.
I know we didn't go to a lot of places that had stuff on tap. They had it was a lot of bottle service. So I had Dogfish Head 90-minute IPA. A couple of those were decent.
90 minute. Nice.
I
haven't had 90
Elysium.
minutes yet.
Grasshopper becoming the master.
I know, right? Right. The girl that would not drink IPAs
Here.
for like her second or third beer, and now she's.
And then
down to 90 minutes.
Elysium. Who does Elysium? Is that what it's called? Elysium?
Alicia.
Elysium?
That's a no beer.
It's a no beer.
But that's okay.
I know it's Big Brewer. I think Adam reminded me of that.
Right when I saw that my untapped light up when she checked it in.
Shut up. You're
Jerks. You guys wanted to know what I drank. That's what I drank. And
That's
then
fine.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Hey, look. Once we get to Jake, it's gonna be okay. I had a Coors Light. I had a Coors Light. I had a Mars. I had a Coors Light. It's fine.
And then I came home and I had forgot about the Goose Island Matilda that I had purchased and was in the fridge, and so I had that. And then I had KBS, and then we had KBS CBS in Antioch Liquor on tap, which was fantastic. And then I had more KBS today, and then we had Juicy Pants today. So it's been a pretty good week. It's been pretty solid, not too much, but that's what I've had for the week.
Jacoby.
dilly. Crush every 60 seconds. Dilly. Okay.
So you're a Bud man now, not a Coors man. Okay, got it.
I had a busy week. Probably the busiest week I've ever had coming up to be a
All
guest.
right, give me highs and lows here, kid. We got 4 people.
I'm just
And
gonna.
we just got the 10-minute mark again. Damn
He's
it!
looking
come on.
at his Untapped. Give him a second.
Shitballs. Okay, I had one
Excuse
in
me.
Grand Rapids called M43. That's a New England IPA by a brewery called Old Nation. Pretty popular out there. I thought it was fantastic. Adam gave you one. Chatter, you got one coming your way. Moving right along. I'm not going to have time to talk about these guys really. Hopefully, maybe next time I'm a guest, I can talk about them a little bit. It's Brewery Vivant. It's a small brewery out in GR that was fantastic. My favorite beer by them was, there was one that was awesome called Tart Side of the Moon. But the best beer I had was a stout called Love Shadow. I brought a couple of those back as well.
That
Share with
sounds
you,
good.
you bus. Quickly. I know what I'm going to finish with here. Had some other stuff by Vivant. Was good. My buddy, there's another small brewery called Pigeon Hill Brewery. I had Your Mom on French Toast.
Your mom.
That is a Russian Imperial
Your
Stout.
mom. That's awesome, man.
Fantastic.
I want that beer just for the name.
I know, right?
Awesome.
I had some other good stuff. I had that Rubus for the first time. Love raspberry. Damn you, Founders. That was good. I had
Oh,
Hop
yeah, that's a good
this
one.
week. Fantastic.
Did you say you had a
new
Hop
one
Slam?
It was so good,
Oh, I'm
Gina.
so jealous.
I meant to tag you. I had a
I'm so
new one
jealous.
from Mars this week. That was delicious, called Mars Can Music.
We
And
need to
then
go to
I
Beer
will
Bazaar tomorrow, Gina. Get some Mars.
just go ahead and finish. There's some other good ones I had.
Get me some.
But since we are on a founder's kick here, I will finish with when I was in Grand Rapids, we went to a place called the Craft Beer Cellar, which, Chad, I believe there's one up in Wisconsin. It is a chain, and you walk through what looks like a very small, classy beer store, and in the back is just tables, games, and a bar.
What's it called again?
Fun.
Craft Beer Cellar. There's one somewhere in Wisconsin. We got to meet up there.
I wonder if there's a way to find that. If there's a way to.
If only there was a device.
If only there was a
I might
device.
have something just right over here.
Okay, you good. I'm glad you do. Nobody else does.
But you walk through like a very sort of not large but very sort of classy looking craft beer store, and you walk through that and you get to a room where they've got tables and games. I was playing Sorry with my brother and my sister and my buddy. My damn brother won. He wanted to play Scrabble, but last time we played Scrabble, I flipped the table, so we're not allowed to. But on tap, they had Dogfish 120.
What? Yeah, it's like 10 or 15 minutes from where I'm moving to.
Yes.
Jealous. We're going. We have to help
go.
Chad and Brittany break in the new home, so we should go.
We're gonna have to help him move.
It's gonna be
Absolutely.
awesome, Chad.
All right.
I don't know if it's going to be, I mean, you'll find some good stuff there, but it's probably not going to be the best spot to buy beer at. 'Cause at least the one I went to was small and kind of pricey. But on tap, 120, KBS this year. That was the first KBS I had, and they had
Wow.
CBS on
You had
tap.
Dogfish 120 on tap,
My buddy got 120. I got a KBS and a CBS. We played
but it
Sorry
was on tap 120.
on tap.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
We
That's
got-
a treat.
Hammered and had a
I bet you
great
did.
time. Had a great time. So you know what? I know I'm a little salty towards you tonight, Founders, but when I saw KBS, CBS on tap at a place, I mean, it was like full chub. It was awesome.
Full chub. I'm having fun.
Man, I'm glad to know there's one. I mean, it's an hour or so from us, then probably. So that'll be.
Adam, there's like something called craft beer something that's near Chicago, and it's like an affiliate, but it's not quite the same chain. We can still check it out sometime.
Yeah, we can check it
But
out.
I was trying to find like what's next closest one.
Okay. We'll probably have to switch to a new one here in a second. But so mine actually.
Oh my god.
Are you okay, Chad? Chad's like
Well, you talk about full chub.
he's showing me his O face over here. I don't know what's going on. Oh.
You ready to nipples out again?
Remember your special guest.
Full chub.
Remember the special
Show us
guest.
your nipples, Chad. Show us your nipples again.
Oh.
So I have a short list this time because I really didn't have a lot new that I drank, and I'm now remembering I didn't check in everything. So Son of Juice, that was really good. Gina already talked about that. I did try the Stillbank Brewing awesome sauce that Chad bestowed upon me. That was pretty good too. The Matilda by Goose was surprisingly good.
Surprisingly good.
Have you had it? What did you think of it? What did you rate it? Do you remember?
Was it this year's Matilda that you had?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see. Oh, you gave it a 3.
Yeah.
You gave
It
it
was
a
solid.
3?
Well,
Dude, he's a hard reader.
I will be honest.
We refer to that as being a dick.
It was never going to be a 4, but if you
Wait.
look at this year's Matilda, it
Wait
was
until
not
I mention
brewed
my
in
rating on
Chicago.
Antihero.
That's the one we have. It was. The one
Oh.
we got. It was.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
We don't have any left, or I'd let
Where's
you
the
look at our
bottle? Show me the
bottle.
bottle.
Maybe you can look at our case.
It might be in the back of the. No, I threw it away.
No.
It was. I even looked it up too. There was a big old article the Tribune did in 2017 about what are still brewed here, and Matilda for 2017-18 was still on the list.
But did you look at the back of what Eric said?
I think he did.
Yes,
I think
it
he
said
did.
Chicago on
It
my.
says at the top of it, you brewed it
Yeah.
here.
I think he did.
And if you do a Google search for Matilda and do like an image search of Goose Island Matilda, they've changed the bottle and the label completely, and they've changed the style.
It's actually,
Yeah,
you know
it's
what's
like
funny?
a dark brownish bottle.
It looks
Yeah.
very much like a
Label.
KBS bottle.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah,
got
that's
the
what-
lighter
yeah.
colored labeling.
does.
The bottle is
Yeah.
dark.
Kind
But
of
the bottle that we had did say Chicago.
Okay. Well, listen, I know I had one from last year.
That's why you rated it a 3.
It wasn't going to go higher than a 3.5, but yeah, I got knocked down for that.
I thought it was really good. The Belgian styles are really. I think they did a good job with that one.
Chad, where are you at with your KBS? Are you done? Did you save a little bit for the end?
There it goes. He just downed it. Bye.
There it goes.
It's gone.
I think what Adam said earlier about how it, how
Viscosity.
it raised on your tongue. I think that was probably one of the best description of or translation for how
in my beer
people
book.
stay heavy. I was going to tell you
right here for you.
the one thing. So before Chad gets into his high and lows, so it was interesting is that my sister-in-law. So at first she was like, yeah, I don't know. And then about 15, 20 minutes later, she's like, I think I might like this. So I keep telling people that you'll get there with these beers. If you give them a chance, like you'll get there. I legitimately believe everybody will get there. You just have to give them a shot. You have to kind of get over any kind of
Give stouts a
presumptions
chance.
you have about them. Yeah. Because she was getting there. My brother was, I don't know what my brother was, but she was getting there. Anyway.
All right, Chad, what'd you have this week? We'll take a nap. Don't worry about us. Just go ahead.
Heads up,
it's not that long, honestly.
Oh.
Well,
That's what she said.
story of my life.
I never said I would. Never mind.
Did you move that camera even closer now? Holy crap.
No,
we're
I
going to
didn't
be all up in your nostrils.
I don't think it's changed at all. Chad, don't listen to them. It's not changed at all.
Chad, you have
Go ahead. Please,
You look so
regale
nice,
us with
Chad.
your highs and your lows.
Sexy.
Everything
So
you had this week.
Oh my gosh, Chad. It's gorgeous.
They're just jealous.
That's going on the intro.
Okay. So I don't need to do highs and lows because I can honestly run through these pretty quickly. But I will start with what I ended on last week because Jake wasn't with us. It was the Potosi Grand Amber. It was a brandy barrel-aged barley wine.
Yeah, we marked out on that. I asked Beer Bazaar guy about that. He hadn't heard of it.
Woodman's did have a Potosi, but it was a pumpkin one.
Okay, they do.
I saw Potosi because I usually you Marco the picture of the bottle, so the corner of my eye saw that and I was like, oh, and I grabbed it and I was like, son of a bitch, that's not what I'm looking for.
There's actually another Potosi that uses that same purple label. So you got to be careful. But I know we marked about it, but since you weren't with us on the podcast last week, that's the one that I ended with. That was a 5.
Well, now that I know that Woodman's has Potosi, I will keep looking for that one all the time.
Yeah, if you follow Cadillac on Untapped, which if you don't, you're an idiot. I went to his check-in and added that to my watch list. So I'm looking for it as well. And now I have something to
and honestly, if I find it around here again, I'll grab a few bottles. It was one bottle at festival. This was another not quite to the level of CBS, finding a CBS on the shelf, but it was the only one left. So I don't know if it's going to be around again or not, but I'll certainly keep an eye out for it.
People should know Cadillac has a whole rating system beyond 5s for special beers. But anyways, go ahead.
and that festival beer, man, has been good to you.
Yeah.
That's a little honey pot.
Yeah, a little honey hole there.
I know that's a strange one, but I keep checking.
Sticky fingers.
So for opening day of the Cubs season, I drank a No Da Brewing Company's Jam Session. Not that good.
Is that fruity?
No, it's just a pale ale.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Like totally run-of-the-mill pale ale. It wasn't that good.
Okay.
Then I had a Lost Coast Brewery fruit beer. This is a tangerine wheat. I had this at a rehearsal dinner this past weekend. It was pretty good, 325. And then I did a flight at Distill Brewery in Champaign. Actually, Distill is the brewery itself is located in Normal, Illinois, but they've got a brew house, a tap room, essentially in Champaign. So I went through a flight there. I did. These are all sours. Saint DeCara Reserve Sour. It's a framboise. 375. That was awesome. Antiquity. This one was not a sour. This is considered a rye wine, and I've never heard of this before. So you've got barley wine and you've got rye wine. It's essentially made in the same fashion, but with rye whiskey.
But Chad doesn't like rye whiskey.
I don't.
And he knows it. Blind taste test.
But this beer. Although when he served it to me, he's like, we can't call this a beer because the alcohol is above 12%. I'm like, whatever, that's bullshit. But
wait, what? If it's above 12%, it's not a beer?
120, hello.
I was
That's
just
what-
going to say, we've had some above 12%.
Okay,
Is
I'm
that
just-
a rule
this
that
is-
we've not heard about before?
Chad's like, never mind. I'm sorry. I said it. I'm
Conversation for
You're right.
I
Sorry,
said it.
Chad.
Shouldn't
We'll come
have
back to that another time.
It was just the server who was misinformed. I didn't make a big deal out of it. It's called a rye wine, so he in his mind he's probably like we can't call it a beer because it's wine. It's above whatever. I didn't say it. I was just like whatever. Awesome. Gave that a 4.
Wow.
A couple other sours. I did the whole sour flight. All of them were 3.25 or better. Good stuff. I did their double milk stout, which
Ooh.
was 4. That was amazing. First time I've had that one.
Chad, let me interrupt real quick. How did they make their sours? Do you know?
That's what I was going to ask too. If you got into how they made the sour.
Sorry, I interrupted. Do you know?
No, it's fine. I can't answer the question because the guy that was serving us, when he served me the rye wine and said he couldn't call it a beer, I wasn't going to ask any questions.
Right.
Fair enough.
'Cause he wouldn't.
once you've determined they're an idiot, you just don't ask anything else.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Shame.
Okay.
What beer would you suggest, sir? We have a really nice Miller Lite on tap. Oh, right. You're a moron.
Then that.
We just changed it.
Oh wait! Before I left, I did have a no beer this week as well.
Whoa! Oh, I know what it was. Know
exactly which one.
And I drank another one today, as a matter of fact. Boddington's.
Yep.
And
that's a good one.
At the Boddingtons I mean, it's for shame, but it's a decent beer,
It's so good.
right? You have to get past the big beer people part of
Yeah.
it. And then you can enjoy it. Okay.
Well, the recipe for that beer hasn't changed in like 100 years. So
Right.
it's
They're
still the same, but
Right.
so I did not check in. I had Founders All Day IPA at the wedding reception. Didn't check it in because I don't like that beer.
You don't like it.
Then I found out they had Revolution Anti-Hero.
Oh yeah.
I switched to Anti-Hero for beer for the rest of the night. Oh, I switched to hard stuff later, but Anti-Hero, and I gave it a 3.
Chad and I had a healthy Untapped discussion on this,
And Jake gave me shit about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not on Untapped, that's your own fault. Hey, Chad, was the wedding a good time? Did you cut up a rug? Was it fun?
Oh my god, I cut up a rug. Yeah, I was probably on the dance floor more than anybody there.
Nice.
Aw. We need to go dancing.
And the groom's mother came over to me at the bar. She goes, "I just got to tell you." All right, she goes, "I just have to ask you, are you a dancer?"
That's
And I'm like,
awesome.
I said,
No.
yes, I'm with the
I
ballet.
thought you were going to say something else, to be honest with you. I thought she was going to ask you if you were available for the evening.
It was like, lady.
It was leading up to that story. And so the groom's mom came up to me at the
No.
bar.
No, she just wanted to know if I was like professionally trained as a dancer. I was like, no, I just spent
That's
a
a
lot of time.
fantastic compliment.
Well, I spent a lot of time in the clubs in college, so
Oh.
I mean, I got some. I got some moves, but no, I'm not. Anyway, so yeah, 3 on Anti-Hero. Come back to that in a second if you want to, Jake. My last one that I checked in just today is Tiranina's Brewing Benji's Chipotle Smoked Imperial Porter. Didn't care for it. 225 on that one. It was really honestly spicy, like pepper spicy.
Yeah, I saw you check into that. When we were driving, I saw you check in. You had said it had a kick to it.
Yeah, and it was really good. It had a very complex flavor. It's just not my thing. So
I haven't tried any. Have you tried any with peppers, Jake? Like spicy?
I was just going to ask you guys that because as a foodie person, I love spicy. I love hot. You guys have seen me act
So
like an
Beer
idiot.
Bazaar Beer Bazaar has one. It's the I don't think I have the bottle anymore. But that one space one that we had, the cinnamony one, they make one with peppers. I can't remember which peppers it is.
There's a few there, and I keep thinking about getting them, but I have a mental block of is beer and pepper a flavor I want. So I haven't ventured into that arena. But Chad, have you had one that you like? Because
No.
I am a spicy guy.
This is the first one of its type that I've had.
I haven't tried one either.
It's considered a smoked beer.
Yeah, with the Chipotle, it would have a smoky flavor.
Yeah.
Well, not all Chipotle smoky, but
That's true.
So
Maybe that's
if you-
a show we should do. We should get some
It's a good-
spicy.
It's a good idea.
Next to shitty
if you
food.
guys want some of these, I'll grab a couple of them next time I'm at Ridgeview. They're Tyranninas in Lake Mills, Wisconsin. So I think they're pretty well distributed, though. You might be able to find them down there.
So speaking of Ridgeview, Chad, have you told Chris you're moving?
Have you broken up with him yet? Have you
No,
told him
I
yet?
haven't.
That's
Yeah.
gonna be a hard
I
conversation.
want to be sure that you use the proper line and say it's not you, it's me.
Are you gonna tell him, or are you just gonna ghost him? Are you
Yeah,
just,
he's totally ghost him.
ghost
are you
him.
gonna ghost him?
No.
He's been a good friend. He's
I know.
an inside man.
I'm gonna tell him. I'm nervous. I'm gonna tell him that I
Maybe
will.
tears in your eyes.
He's going to be sad too. I think
Tears
he's
in
going
my
to be a
ears.
little bit sad
Tears in
too.
my
Got to be
ears.
honest.
I'm
So
gonna
now,
be a little
so
sad.
I want to be sad, yeah.
now I definitely have to tell him because he listens to the podcast. So
Oh man,
Oh,
we're
shit.
sorry.
I mean,
I gotta tell him before
yeah.
this one comes out anyway.
Oh,
So you'll have to find a new beer guy. Like we have found Rick.
let him
and
get over
Antioch
his ex.
Liquors.
Jeez, he's not even dumped him yet. And you're already talking about the next guy.
Well,
Holy
I'm just
crap.
saying.
Well, you always know the next guy is just like your get overlay.
yeah, he'll have a rebound beer guy that'll
Yeah,
see
he'll have a
the
rebound in that
first,
guy,
and
and-
that'll go fall
Yeah.
apart
Right.
quickly, and then he'll be ready to actually find his.
Make a commitment.
This all makes sense.
Just use
all
protection. We don't want any little beers running around. Hey, real quickly. So I did find an article. I did find an article on Distill, and they
Yeah.
do it the proper way.
You just say doo doo.
I did doo. One thing they said that the brewery is continuing its commitment to sours through local support. Built from the ground up on 6 acres of land, the new facility is dedicated to Sour Kettle Brew House and is accompanied by a 2-story barrel house with
Oh,
and second level for 36 tap beer house. So they do it the right way. They also in this article talk about how they don't buy any of their yeast specifically for souring, that they rely on yeast in the air. He's like, we're pretty much surrounded. We have the best funky air around us because we're surrounded by farmland, and they get all the wild yeast in the air for fermentation.
that's
So when
pretty fascinating.
When I was in GR, I was talking to my boy out there. Who's a big craft beer guy, knows a shit more than I do, and I was telling him about the different ways of making sours. And he said, "Yeah, you're right. It's better if they essentially barrel age it." But then he goes on to say, "He's like the real way that people do it is these open air, where it's the yeast from what's outside." and
Open air
it's
fermenters.
there.
New
Yep.
Glarus actually has an enormous open air fermenter that when we go up there, really looking forward to see. They're one of the only ones. I mean, they're one of the very few around here that use an open air fermenter like that.
Cannot wait to go there.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've had a sour that was made like that. I don't think I have.
I didn't know that there was
actually, because I don't know, because that article that Chad and I read really opened my eyes to, oh wait, there's different
Yeah.
people brew sour differently. And then talking to Rich up at Antioch Liquors, he even talked about it a little bit more, and he pointed us to where their sours are, that are brewed the right way, and you can tell because over in that section, $29, $59, $69.
We're a lot more expensive.
Where over here you have Unani, who's like $16, $14, $12.
So is there any sours that are like a 4-pack that are brewed like that? Or are they all in those single bottles?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. It's a good question.
Well,
Distill does
Yeah,
cans,
they
six-pack
can.
cans or whatever,
Yeah, they sell
Yeah, it
4 or
sounds
6
like they do it
six-pack
right.
cans.
and they have Distill it. And didn't they, Gene? I thought they had Distill.
I believe they did have
Yeah,
to
they
still.
Yeah.
did. That's where I bought it when I was.
Oh,
down
was it
there.
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Now that I know that Distill does it the right way, I'll definitely grab a few more of theirs because
Yeah. And if you
I'm
can
really liking the sours.
if you can find Antiquity, if they have it, it's not a sour. It's that rye wine. But if you can buy a single bottle or two or some of the to share, try it. It's not as good as a barley wine, but it's really good.
Okay.
Nice. Very, very nice. So are you done? Check that last one. Chad, you're done?
Chad's done.
Gina's been done and
I've
done.
been done.
She's been done and done. All right, so let's start with Gina then.
I mean,
What say you on your final? Did it change at all from beginning to end?
It did.
And then what are your changes? And then your final score, even though you already checked it in and ruined it for everybody, but whatever.
My final score is 4.5.
So now you
it
go
is-
back and change that? Or no, you were at a 4.5 to begin with.
I was at a 4.5 to begin with. I mean, I'm telling you, I can't. There's the only reason why I wouldn't rate this as a 5 is because I've never had a beer that I'm like, I could, not that I can't drink multiples of this. I mean, it's near perfect. There's nothing that this beer doesn't have other than I don't really feel like I could drink more than one at a time. So maybe that's the only thing it's missing. It's incredibly rich. The only thing, what changed about it initially to the end was that I feel like I could feel more, I could taste more of the bourbony. It kind of laid on my tongue a little bit longer. It was kind of like a tingling, a zinging, I guess you could say, now that I've finished with it several moments ago, more than you all gentlemen, or sooner than you gentlemen. That's gone now.
I like to enjoy my beer, Gina.
I know
I don't rate it right
you
away.
were savoring it, but it's a fantastic beer. Like, I get that founders, a little bit frustrated with how they've distributed it and the lack of distribution in our area, particularly because it would be nice to be able to have a couple of, 4-packs in the fridge to enjoy now, to enjoy in the summer, to keep around for fall, just because, the flavor kind of changes the longer you have it. So it'd be nice to have it. So a little bit frustrated with their distribution, but I got to tell you, it's a really good beer. So if you haven't tried it, I totally encourage someone to go out there and look for it and get it, especially if you're in Texas, if you're in California, really any place. You might have a little bit more of a difficult time if you're in Illinois or Wisconsin or Indiana, or Ohio even. So I would say try it. It's great.
Or Kentucky.
Or Kentucky. I knew. I saw Jake when I said Ohio even.
We're going to go maybe in,
I think I maybe meant to say
maybe.
Already, yeah.
Jacoby, get that bottle out of your nose, man. Yeah. Snort.
So yeah, I raised up my level. I like I said, I watched that dude, and he was suggesting that it's best served at 55. I'm sure it is delicious at 55. I know I put mine in the fridge a couple hours before I came over here, and then I took it out maybe 10 minutes before I left. It's probably sitting for 20 minutes or so before we started. I didn't measure the temp though. I think it got better as it warmed. I think it was definitely warmer than 55. I think it brought the booziness out while maintaining a coffee and then a chocolate. I'm going to keep it at 4.25, and I think that's a strong rating. I highly recommend drinking this if you have access. If you're listening to us from a state that has some inventory, go get it. Like if you see this in the store, and you're not sure, trust me, pick up a 4-pack. And that's what's great. They sell it in a 4-pack. I mean, I know it's expensive, but you're buying 4. You can figure out what to do with 4 of those guys.
And it's definitely, and I was going to say about the price. Yeah, it is expensive. You're right. It works out to be $7 per bottle. It's kind of pricey for a beer, but I will say, like what both of you, it's worth that price.
Yeah, our boy Dallas down out of state, I want to say he paid $26 for it. Yeah, it's not cheap, but if you see it, I would highly recommend you get it. It's going to sell at 4.25 for me for another show. But what I will say is, when I had the 2017 on Friday, I gave that a 4.75.
That's a good story.
Well, okay, I don't know how quick you can tell us, but just high level, what's the main difference? 17, 18 that you in your mind?
For me, I thought it had even more. Gosh, the flavor was just a lot more impactful. I thought there was more upfront flavor, especially upfront chocolateness, and then I thought the booziness lasted longer. Like the legs on it just run for days.
So now what we should do?
I'm just swimming in that one.
Once we get Chad that 17.
Yeah.
We come back in here and we do a 17, 18 comparison together.
We got to do a vertical.
Yeah.
Or we wait a year and we do 17, 18, 19, but we need to do a vertical.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Chad, what say you think, Jor?
We can do that vertical together. I mean, I'll be moved by the time we get to that, so I can come down and do that. We could all be in the same room to do that podcast. So
if we're gonna have 5 of us in here, we're gonna need.
No, I don't have to.
bigger room.
No, I don't have to be in here. I'll just be listening live.
We need to get a bigger room.
Another great idea too.
why would there be 5
that
of us?
we almost did the
He
first
can't
time.
count.
Another
She
thing we
knows
could
me too
do,
well.
just throwing it out there.
I didn't take
we-
my shoes off.
We could take a breakfast out, a KBS, and a CBS.
Yes, that's a great idea.
We could do that too. I'm just
I still what I suggested we do the other night to you. I wanted to do KBS, Death Star,
Death Star.
and Bourbon County all together.
Yeah.
so we have a lot of good ideas.
Got a lot of options here. A lot of drinking to do. Okay, Chad, go ahead.
That's going to be one hell of a Saturday.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna end up pretty messy, like the like the
Surly.
episode that's coming out on Monday tomorrow.
That
Biscuits
Surly
and
episode
gravy
is
served the next
great.
day.
I love how many times in an episode, like somebody's talking and then the other two guys just completely change direction.
It's
just
the show is complete whiplash. We don't stay on a topic at all. Anyway, that one comes out. That one comes out tomorrow, the April 2nd. So go ahead, Jed.
That's not going to make any sense because this is going to come out later than that.
Way later, yeah.
Anyway,
it came out on April 2nd in the past.
Yeah.
Yes, that's.
Listen to both. When you get to this, maybe that episode will make a little sense.
Oh, that's what that was. Okay,
Yes,
those guys are
yes.
dumbasses. All right, Jed.
I'll stick with a 4.5 on this one as well. I think I have a feeling that when I get the 17 bottle, I have a feeling I'll like it better, and I may rate it higher than I initially did. But we only had a little taster of it, so because I rated that taster-sized 17 a 4.5, I pretty much have to rate this the same because from what I remember of that little sample we had, this was as good. So that might change once I get the 17. But I did kind of do the same thing that Jake did as far as noise. As far as chilling it, I put it in the as soon as I got home today from our drive home, I did put this in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. Took it out about 15 minutes before 15 minutes before we started. So 20 minutes, 25 minutes before first sip. So I chilled it and let it warm up again. And then as we drank it over the course of this hour and 20, whatever it's been, I did think that the flavor did get better. We never talked about the ABVs or IBUs on this, but I don't feel like any of that really changed. I think the alcohol flavor stayed the same. It did get a little bit more bitter towards the end, but I think it was a good thing.
Does anybody know? Isn't the ABV like 12.7?
Yeah, it was 12 something.
12.6
or something.
12.3,
12.1, 12.2, 12.3, 12.4.
12.3, 12.3, 12.3, 12.3.
I think it might be a 12.3, fellas.
And
just looked it up, 12.3.
The IBUs are.
Hey, Jake, did you look it up? Is it 12.3, Jake? Is that what it is?
Yeah, I looked up the IBUs too, and it said, "Who gives a shit?" So
70.
It said
Really?
it doesn't matter anyway.
Did it seriously say 70?
It's 70. Yes.
That's curious to me. It did not taste like a
Don't
70.
don't
because it
don't,
doesn't-
don't do this.
I know. Okay, oh my gosh, that's for another podcast.
Do
I
not
know.
start talking about IBUs in this room. You all of a sudden, Jake's pants are off, and this is here we go. Here
I
we
understand
go.
part of how you made that beer, scientifically speaking. I get that, but there's a huge misconception among
Yes.
consumers about what if that number means anything. Like, oh, let me look at the bottle to the IBU. It doesn't mean shit for your taste. Go ahead, sorry.
It's kind of the
You
same
got
thing.
it off your
That's a dark beer. It's heavy, right? I feel like it falls along the same
I'm
thing.
sorry, Judy. Did you just say heavy?
I just said heavy.
Heavy D.
I feel like Jake feels lighter now, though.
I know. After he got that off his chest,
Yeah.
his IBU rant. I should just record that and then just anytime anybody says IBU, just stick that rant in there.
Well, whenever you guys, listen to your show, whenever you guys start to creep into IBUs, like I can feel my face just getting red.
I usually try to throw in, yes, Jake, we know.
You usually do, and then you proceed to make fun of me.
Yes, I do. It's pretty easy. I'm going to stay at a 4.25. Mainly because it's a very good beer, and like everybody said, if you haven't had it, get it. But I don't find myself dying to have it. Like I'm not sitting there going, Man, I wish I had another one.
Mm.
Death Star. Gosh, when I get to the bottom of a glass of Death Star, I'm going, do I have more? Can I get another one, please? Veneration, same way. Do I have more? Can I get another? This one, I just don't find myself doing it, so I don't feel like I can really go much higher. But it's very solid.
Do you have any more veneration?
None of your business, dude.
We do have one.
Hey, where's
in
my
the fridge.
2017? I'm taking it back. Fuck
It's
you.
in the beer fridge in the garage,
None of
Jake.
your business.
Have one. before you-
Woman, be quiet.
Hey, Jake, there's a possible trade for you for the 17. I got plenty of veneration.
Ooh.
That was not me, Chad.
What else? This one I was going to say, I totally forgot. So whatever. It
We're
wouldn't be.
closing credits.
It wouldn't be a show without me or Chad forgetting what we're going to say completely at some point. So
Yeah, because most of the time we just kind of we're both on the camera and we're like,
I forget what I was going to say. You have a bird in my eye.
What was that beer you guys did recently where you're like, well, this is a short episode. I guess when you don't like a beer very much.
that was a hazy little thing.
It was like 45 minutes. You're like,
It was probably a Sierra.
We got him.
It was a Sierra Nevada. It had to be because every Sierra Nevada we've done, we've been like, nope. I think it was either
Unimpressive.
That or Sam 76.
Yeah, it was.
Bigfoot or Sam 76.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that episode. I remember at the end we're like, all right, well, that was quick. We obviously didn't like this one. We didn't want to talk about it. Just keep going.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes, man. That's the way it
Chad's
goes.
like, well, I got to fold some laundry.
Yeah, probably should take a shower this week, so
Clean some green clothes.
make sure you wash all your greens.
That's
and
when
your
we start talking like we totally get off subject. Like, yeah. So, what soap are you using when you do shower?
What are you using for your beard there, buddy?
So do you pull up on your toilet paper or down?
You got some stuff coming at him.
Down.
Wait, what?
You got some stuff coming from Beard Commander.
Ooh, yay.
Beard Commander.
I started using it this week. It's fucking awesome.
Oh, I can't wait to try
You're
it
gonna
out.
have to share some with Jake too. Although he's trimmed it up quite a bit. Although
I don't know if his counts.
Untapped. Jake
Well, I mean,
checked in Kentucky.
It's fine. It's fine. Listen, I keep it trimmed for the wife.
Mm-hmm.
All right, boys. I think we've done it. I think we're done with this one, right? We can kill this. We can fork it. Yep.
Thanks, guys. This is an excellent beer. I really hope everybody enjoys it, and I hope other people have a chance to experience it because it is a good beer. It's definitely something to try.
It's definitely worth trying. I know the cost will probably scare some people off, but you really shouldn't let them split it with your buddies. So do that if you need to. But thanks everybody for listening. Thanks Gina for joining us. Chad, Jake has yet to even try to burp. I understand your hesitation. Don't forget you can always find us at BeerdedHops.com, BeerdedHops.com/find us. You'll find everywhere we are on the internet. Jake, have any parting words? Any parting burp? Maybe you want to bestow upon the people?
I just want to say, gee, I was glad I was here for your first show. You know, if you hadn't been here, all that time you spent talking would have just been them being dicks. So, thank you. And yeah, if you see KBS, buy some. Drink it with some friends. Cheers.
Cheers.
Skull.
Chad?
Cheers,
What?
Chad.
what?
Yeah, you got anything to say? We're leaving. You got anything to say here, kid?
No, this is good.
Beer. Good beer.
It's good beer. It's good beer.
Good beer.
All right.
All right, everybody. Have a great week.
Chad,
Adam,
I miss you as always.
I'll see you soon, buddy.
Can't wait to. He's gonna be an hour and a half closer.
Marco Polo.
Be an hour and a
by
half
the way,
closer.
I did when we were looking at the distance between my new place and your
Between you and
place.
I?
That was based on construction times. It's really only an hour and 25 without construction.
Excellent.
Close enough.
That's
I am.
fantastic.
Wait, Jake. The beer cellar, was it the name of the place in Grand Rapids?
Craft beer cellar.
Craft beer cellar. It's in Pewaukee, yes.
Yeah.
They have a place called the Beer Cellar in Glen Ellen. That's why.
They do. I don't know if it's an affiliate or not, Adam, but we should check it out and see.
I mean, I think we should definitely do research. Yeah.
It's gonna take some investigation.
Yeah.
Let's investigate too some breweries around Wrigleyville this summer too. I'm just saying we should go to a Cubs
I don't know if
game.
there's any breweries in Wrigleyville.
Well, some
A lot of bars.
tap
There's
rooms.
a lot of
where they
bars.
have-
There's a crap ton of bars.
right, with beers.
That
on
would
tap.
that might get Brittany to change plans.
Ugh.
The fuck is that? What is that?
Just edit that
No way! There's no way!
out.
I think it was a hiccup. Was it a hiccup? It was a hiccup, right?
Okay. I hate you guys.
I feel like you threw that out of your mouth.
I might have to clean off that microphone. You puke on or something?
Poor Jake. Poor Jake.
It smells like KBS.
There you go then. There you go.
That was a perfect way to end the show. Oh, that was hilarious.
I had to push it.
All right, guys. I got a timeout. I got to go check Owen's essay.
Homework.
Make sure he's done for his test.
Oh.
Have a fantastic
Thanks, guys.
night. Thanks, guys.
Later, everybody.
All right.
Bye,
Later,
Chad.
Bye bye.
Bye, Chad.